G'day everyone, we've owned the new 250 series Prado for a couple of days now. We've already done 1500 Ks. In this video, we're going to give you a quick first impressions video, things we like, little things we don't like. We're going to answer some of your questions about it, including some of the big problems people have with it, like the third row seats. Okay, so first things first, and probably one of the biggest issues people have had with the new 250 Prado, that's about third row seat. Now, I released a video on that before the cars were out in Australia when I'd seen the third row seat, and it's got like 80,000 views, 500 comments. So it's a big concern for people, and I know a lot of people have cancelled orders and they're just not happy with it. And it's just so silly because Toyota have made an absolutely incredible car here. They've really hit it out of the park, and it's just something so silly. So a company called Loaded Drawers has actually already made a third row delete. They produced it in a couple of days. And again, it just makes me think, Toyota, why didn't you just do that in the first place? So they will do a third row delete. It's still got ventilation for the battery. They've got a big load rating. It looks factory, super neat. And I know some dealers are going to be offering it from the dealership and warranting it from the dealer. Just check all that information, but the company is Loaded Drawers. I'll put up some videos now showing their conversion and their delete. I think it looks fantastic, and I think it's a great option for people who want variants like the GXL, which is going to be really popular because it has the features that people want. It is doable, you can take it out. I'm still not 100% on warranties and whether you're going to void it and legalities. They don't take out the seat belts, so you technically don't have to mod plate it, but it's going to be worth checking up with Loaded Drawers and Toyota on that one and asking them about the particulars if you're interested in the setup. All right, another big thing with it, we took it off-road and just put it up against the 60 series. The video is just a bit of fun, but we did some silly things in it. One thing I didn't do was lock the center differential. I presumed it locked automatically when you put it in low range. Not the case. You've got to do that manually. It makes sense to me now. I read up the manual, and I'm sorry, the internet was understandably a little bit angry with me on that one. We took it to the exact same spot where it got stuck. We locked the center differential and it walked up it, no worries. Center differential is locked now. There you go. We're in the exact section now where I got caught up last time because they didn't have the center diff locked. So let's see how it goes. I do fully expect it to go up. I was surprised last time. So we should be good here. Okay, around that. And look at that, straight up. There we go. There we go. That's a Land Cruiser. Bit easier that time.
Much better.
Some of the things in that video still stand, like we found the limit of the clearance and the stock tires. You know, I've got a big scratch on dash plate underneath already. Off-road, it is still a very, very good car, and sometimes it's just user error, which might make it a little bit limited. So Holly and I have been using this car for a big range of things. It's sort of like our daily, we run to the shops in it. It's the shopping trolley, just like everyone sort of likes to make fun about the Prados, but that's what a lot of people do in them. It's what we're doing in it. We also used it for work. So we had clients in it for weddings. We drove it on highways, mountain roads. We took it on wet dirt roads at night with corrugations. We've done a massive range of environments, heavy rain, and we've even done a little water crossing. So that's 1500 Ks in a couple of days that we've owned it. So we've got a really good first impression of it. As I said, this is the GX variant, so it's the lowest variant. And I'm happy to eat my words here a little bit. I was a bit concerned about the standard features that you get with it and some things that I think were missing. But getting in the car, it absolutely feels like a premium car. I think even the GX variant with the cloth seats, you get in and it feels expensive. It feels really well put together. And some of the standard features are really, really good. So let's jump inside and I'll show you around a bit. So here we are inside the car. I absolutely love the interior. It really feels like a cockpit. As I said, it feels premium. Love the black roof. The cloth seats, even in the GX variant here, I think they look fantastic. They're very, very comfortable. They're not electric, they're not heated, they're not cooled. That's all right, it's a lower variant. The infotainment screen in the middle, absolutely love that. The Apple CarPlay works really, really well. Lots of soft touch points here in the middle. Soft touch, here soft, here soft. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Right where I put my elbow, not soft, hard plastic. It's probably my only real gripe in the interior here is this hard plastic. Now I know the other variants would have soft area here. Totally fine. I get that they have to stop somewhere with some of the features, but that's just a little bit annoying. That's probably the only driver comfort issue I have. Everything else is absolutely perfect. It's amazing. Even though it's a lower spec variant, there's still some fantastic standing inclusions in here and some really, really nice things. One of the things I really do like is the cameras all around it. So when you're off-roading, when you're parking, if you just want to see what's around you, that's really, really nice. I've never had that in a car. And then there's some of the safety features this car has. So there is a lot, and I'm still getting used to it. One thing is the cruise control. It took me a little bit to get used to, but there's adaptive cruise control. Now, if you haven't used that before, it pretty much will, you can put it on cruise, and if there's a car in front of you and it slows down, it will slow down to the speed of that car. But it will also slow down in corners and things like that. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, no, I do not want that. I gave it a try on some sort of mountain twisty, windy roads. It is fantastic. For me personally, I love it. It's like magic. I don't really have to drive that much. I just steer the car where it wants to go. That's really, really good. Another thing is the lane departure. Now, I know in some cars, it can be quite violent. Like if you depart on the lane, it will get you back in. This, I didn't know if I'd like it or not, but this is very, very subtle. It's like a small suggestion, like get back on the road sort of thing. It just gives you a tiny little, the faintest little nudge, almost just like a haptic feedback in the steering wheel. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't like that. I would definitely recommend you give it a try if you're going to get a Prado, but you can turn all this stuff off. So if you don't like it, turn it off. But I'd give it a try and get used to it because I've been really, really enjoying it. Some other tech in the car, like you've got these microphones above your head here. The audio is absolutely fantastic. Listening to people, talking to people, that's really, really nice. Hand-free is really, really good. There's a few commands you can give the car. If you say, hey Toyota, it'll sort of pop up like a Siri kind of, virtual assistant, and you can tell it to do things like you can say, hey Toyota.
How can I help you?
Put all my windows down.
Opening all windows.
Well, that's really cool. One thing I really do love is all the windows are full auto up and full auto down, which so many cars don't have, and they're only sort of just putting it all in now. And it's just such a simple feature that goes a long way. So I thought I'd just jump in the back and show you some of the room in here. This seat is still set up for me in the front. I'm 6'2" and I've still got room, so there is enough room. Some people might not like that you can't slide the seats forwards or backwards. I don't think it's too much of a problem because there is still so much room. But yeah, it's really comfortable in here. You've got air vents, you've got USB-C and a cigarette socket down here. So again, pretty nice features for the GX. All right, so let's have a look at the boot. Now, it's not an auto up tailgate because it's the GX variant, but it's got the gas struts, so it's pretty good. So here's the boot in the GX variant. We needed a lot of boot space because we do chuck a lot of gear in for work. It's just still got that little shelf here. It is raised about, I don't know, 100 mil because it does have the 48 volt battery underneath, just like all the other variants. But there is plenty of boot space in here. We were a little bit worried. We were coming from a Subaru Outback that maybe there wasn't as much boot space even as that, but I can confirm there is. You've got the height as well. So I think with a set of drawers in the back, you'd still have plenty of height to put things on top, and you could have a drawer fridge. Accessibility for the battery, I'm just not sure about. I'm not sure what the service intervals are, but that are some questions that will be answered in the future soon, I hope. One thing we love in the back here, there is a 220 volt or 240 volt sort of outlet in the back. For Holly and I, that's super handy. We were charging camera gear in between jobs, which we couldn't do in the Subaru before. So really nice that they have that, and that's standard across the range. And it only turns on when the vehicle is on. So if you're, wanting to plug it in, use it when you're camping, that might not work. It would be great if there was a feature to turn it on or off, but I suppose I don't want to drain the battery. So lighting the boot, you've got a little light here and you've got a little light here, but you don't actually have one up here and the other one's in the middle. So it's a little bit awkward. You do have these little lights here, but it'd be good to have something a bit bigger at the back, but maybe that's something that we can add later on when we start adding a few accessories to the car. It also has the cup holders here in the back, which obviously is just for the 7-seat variants. They just did the one mold, so it's a little bit useless, but I'm sure we'll be able to figure out something, I don't know, for storage or something in the future. So I'm really keen to see what sort of starts to come out for them. One thing we absolutely love is the paint. So this is the frosted white, which is like your standard white, but gone are the days when they just did that old plain Toyota white. This is a really nice pearl metallic fleck to it. And in the right light, it actually looks silver. So it's a really nice cool white, and it just gives the car, again, a bit more of a premium look, considering it's not a premium variant. I actually really like the black plastic trim. I like the black rims. It's funny, the GX rims, I actually think are some of the best looking rims. I actually think they look better than the Altitude rims. So yeah, they're really, really nice. And it actually looks very similar to the Altitude, to the GXL. So the mirrors also have blind spot monitoring, which I really like. It has auto lock and unlock. And it also has little window washers for your lights. So it's just got some nice little features there. One feature that we absolutely hated when we first got it was the auto door lock. So you could only unlock it when the driver's door was open or there was a child lock, and even getting out of the car, you couldn't open the doors. Super frustrating. If you do have one, you want to change it, is in the middle infotainment screen. It's in like car settings and general settings and door settings. So have a look through the menu, you will find it, turn it all off because it's the most frustrating thing. So what's it like to drive on road? Well, I can say it's absolutely beautiful to drive. I could really just smash out huge Ks in this thing. We get good fuel range with the tank. We're getting 9.6 litres per 100 so far in eco mode, which is what we've been driving it in. It's got a 110 litre fuel tank, so we're getting probably about 1,000 Ks of usable range out of it, which is pretty good. It goes really, really well. I can tell with the little 48 volt system, just off the mark, a little bit less lag. It's nice and quick. You're not going to burn your starter motor out for your stop start, that kind of thing. Look, it goes really, really well. I don't really have much to compare it to. The V8 Troop is completely different. I mean, then my other car's a 60 series, so it's absolutely beautiful to drive. It's super quiet inside. The sound system's really nice. The suspension's nice and soft, and it's just comfortable. It just feels really, really nice to drive. So the on-road experience is absolutely fantastic. And as a package, Toyota have made an incredible car, and I really, really stress to do a test drive and test it out if you've been thinking about getting one, because we are absolutely loving it so far. The AdBlue situation in it is a bit frustrating. It's a 17 litre AdBlue tank. So it's a pretty big tank. So if you wanted to carry spare AdBlue, you have to carry almost a full Jerry. They reckon every 8,000 Ks you're gonna need to fill that up. If you're towing, it can be as often as 2. So that is a bit of a pain. I think we're just gonna learn to live with it. It'll just be another thing you have to do with your car. But yeah, I can understand where that would put some people off. All right, we're gonna go through and answer some of your questions that you have asked us in regards to this Prado. We put it up on Instagram, so I'll just go through them now. The load space in the rear, it's all anyone's talking about. As I said, there's a 3rd row delete option available, and the space in the GX variant is fantastic. So I don't think it's as much as an issue anymore. Definitely check the legalities around it. And it is a little bit of a pain if you're having to buy another product to put it in, but yeah, it's definitely a good option to fix it. What is the plan for the vehicle? That's a really, really good question for us. So for Holly and I, this is a work vehicle, this is a daily, but we also want to tow with it. We want to introduce ourselves to towing, so we're going to tow something small soon. And we're going to do some very, very basic mods to it. So it will be a better touring vehicle. We are not going to do a GVM upgrade, but we will get suspension. We're thinking about a 2-inch lift, 33-inch tyres, which apparently these handle absolutely fine. We're going to do a simple draw system in the back. We're looking at front bars now for a winch and some lights because we do really want those. And we're going to add a few things like cell fire for work and a handheld UHF. And that's about it. We really don't want to overload the car. The payload in these things is not fantastic, and I think you really do have to watch it, and I'm keen to see what GVM upgrades are going to be available for it. Someone's asked, how does it tow? We don't know, we haven't towed with it yet, but that is something that we're going to be doing soon. So when we do, we will be releasing a video about that. Do you think it's worth the extra money compared to a Ford Everest? Now, I don't own a Ford Everest. I've only sat in one. I haven't lived with it, so I can't really answer that properly. Look, I know in the Everest you are getting some pretty good standard features, and for the equivalent money you're spending for the lower spec variant of this, you're getting one of the upper spec variants of the Everest. So if you're looking for a more feature heavy car, look, Ford Everest is pretty hard to go past. It's got the V6 engine as well, which is apparently very, very nice. They do have a few little issues, I think, or there's transmission issues. I'm not super around it, so definitely check that out. But yeah, I think it's going to be a direct competitor, and it's just whether people want to pay that Toyota tax and get, you know, the dealer network and some of the spare parts that will be available. And look, I don't know about the reliability of these things yet, but it's Toyota, so hopefully it's good. I like this one. Have you been gifted the Prado? A couple of YouTubers have got one around the same time. I did a video pretty much bagging out the third row, and it's got 80,000 views and 500 comments. So if they gave me a car, I don't think they'd be very happy with me right now, because I've got numerous comments that have cancelled the order because of the video. No, we weren't gifted it. A lot of YouTubers have just bought it because, look, it's a new car, big hype about it, new content, so they want to jump on it early. But no, I can guarantee you absolutely no influencer has been gifted a Toyota in Australia, as far as I know. Maybe someone has actually. Family friendly, yes, absolutely. That's what these things are made for. They're made for families. They've got the industry standard baby seat anchor points in the back, plenty of room. So I think they're going to be really good for young families. What has been the highway fuel consumption? As I said, 9.6, 9.5 in eco mode in stock form, and with a bit of gear in it, so it's not too bad. It'll be interesting when we chuck on some bigger tyres and a bit of gear and see what happens to that fuel consumption. How do you feel about the serviceability of the 48-volt batteries with a draw system? That's a great question. I actually have no idea what the service intervals of the 48-volt battery are. I don't know what its expected lifespan is. I actually know nothing about it, and I'm really keen to learn a bit more about it and see what it's like and how bushproof it is, and you know, what happens if it fails. Does the car go into a limp mode, or does it stop, or does the engine just keep running? There's a lot of questions around it, and you know, I am sort of thinking like, what is the lifespan of it? Is it 10 years and you have to replace it? Is it 20 years, or is it just going to be the life of the vehicle? I actually have no idea, and it's a great question and one that we'll be looking at a bit closer in the future. Do you plan on getting additional lockers later down the track? I think a rear locker in this would definitely be a really good idea. Lockers are a pretty amazing thing, and they really expand the capability of a vehicle off-road. I think we'll be looking at it. If there's an option available, I'd love to get one in and then see what this thing can do, because I think it'd be a pretty formidable car off-road. Fuel options with the smaller tank, do you know of anything yet? I have talked to Long Ranger, and they are trying to develop something as far as I know at the moment. So I'll definitely keep you posted if they release something, and I'll definitely consider getting one in myself, because we do really big Ks in this car and the extra capacity would definitely be handy. So a few things to wrap up, and one thing I have noticed about this car, and it's a little bit vain, a little bit silly maybe, but people look at it and it's a head turner. People have been coming up to us and asking, what is it? People have been really interested to hear about it. We've had people come up to the windows and say, this is a great looking car. So it's a bit of a vain thing, but people are noticing it. It looks amazing in real life. I definitely encourage you to go and have a look at it. But look, in conclusion, 1,500 Ks in a couple of days. Holly and I genuinely love the car. Holly, every time she gets in it, she's just comments about how much she loves it. Every time I get out and I walk away, I have to have a look back at it. I can't wait to throw a few accessories on it and I can't wait to tow with it and see what it can do. But I genuinely think Toyota has absolutely smashed it out of the park with this one. They are a bit more expensive, but if you're willing to spend that little bit extra money for the Toyota tax, I do not think you'll be disappointed at all. So if you like that video, we're going to be doing heaps more in the Prado. We're going to be accessorizing it, we're going to be towing with it, and we're going to be taking it on some longer trips. So if you want to see those videos, definitely subscribe to the channel and check out what we do, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.